Am I on now? Right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cabinet meeting of North Norfolk District Council of Monday, the 28th of March 2022. The point of recording, I'm Councillor Eric Seward, the Deputy Leader of the Council, who is chairing the meeting today as the leader, Councillor Tim Adams, is away. First item on the agenda is to receive apologies for absence. I believe there are two.
Yes, so I have Councillor T. Adams and Councillor J. Toy and Councillor Dixon has sent his apologies on behalf of the scrutiny committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, if I can turn to agenda item 2, the minutes of the meeting of the 28th of February 2022. I will take it page by page. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, and page 7. Can't see any with suggesting any amendments. Right, can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Richard Kershaw. Can I have a seconder? And then that's Councillor Wendy Fredericks. Right, all those in favour of the minutes? Right, that's unanimous. Thank you. Is there any public questions or statements? There is none. Is there any items of urgent business? There is none. Is there any declarations of interest? There is none. If there's any members' questions, I will take those for agenda items as we go through the agendas on the meeting. Recommendations from overview and scrutiny. Has the chair of overview and scrutiny notified you of any recommendations?
He hasn't.
There's none to report.
And there is none to report. Right. Thank you very much. Right, I now move to the agenda items. I'm going to take agenda item 9, the NNDC Youth Council first, because Councillor Lucy Shires has to leave the meeting early. Right, who wants to introduce this?
I'd like to begin by thanking Officer Emma Denny for her hard work and perseverance to bring this to Cabinet today. As you can see, it's clearly set out what the ambition and what we're asking of Cabinet today. I would just like to say that this is a very positive step in creating the North Norfolk for our future generations by involving them in the North Norfolk of today. And I welcome any questions.
Do I have any questions? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wendy Fredericks, thank you very much. Right, all those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much, Emma, for all the work you've done on that. Right, I now go back to agenda item 8, which is the Ukrainian Community Support Officer position. Which officer would like to introduce this item?
I'm happy to on
Yes.
Steve Blatcher's behalf. You'll all be aware of the situation in Ukraine. We are, alongside many other local authorities across the UK, looking at the support we can provide. So at the moment we are undertaking inspections of properties where people have offered those out under the Homes for Ukraine scheme. And we expect that there will be people families arriving from Ukraine in the next week or so. This post, we will also be looking at providing some resource here at the council to support and bolster that provided by the county through the libraries. North Norfolk are looking at a welcome hub here at the district council. And this post is designed to support over the short to medium term families who are arriving from Ukraine with very little resource and into a different country from a very traumatic situation. The proposal here is the appointment of a Ukrainian community support officer for 12 months to support those refugees that are arriving within our county. I'm taking questions.
Right, have any questions? Councillor Gay.
Thank you, Steve. I was just wondering, do we have arrangements in place to test the language skills of the applicants? Is there someone who can sit on the panel or?
So we will have access to translation services, language line, in terms of that, so we can make provision for testing the skill. I think one of the language skills, I think one of the issues is obviously that Ukraine is a very large country, and there are differences in the language spoken across the width of that. So we need to make sure that someone has sufficient skills that will be spoken. But yeah, absolutely, we will make sure that there is provision for that.
And is it Russian too?
That would be the intent, and it's either Ukrainian or Russian, because I think they're widely spoken across both parts. Remember
Yes.
that up until not so long ago, Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. So
I do remember.
clearly there will be a degree of Russian spoken across, but we need to, we are still finding out about the situation and what is needed, but rest assured that we will make sure that that provision reflects those needs as accurately as we can do.
Thank you.
It's just a question. Do we know if we are going to receive any Russian refugees? I have not enough of people leaving Russia, and under what terms?
We don't have, I haven't got any information to suggest that's the case. I think there are people who have left Russia and who have found accommodation over in the UK. But it's not clear, it's certainly not the scale of need that is presenting through the Ukrainian. The refugees that we'll be getting from Ukraine, those people who are coming to the UK, are coming under two schemes. The first is the extended family visa, and the second is through the Homes for Ukraine. I'm not aware of any such schemes operated by the British government for Russian citizens. So from that point of view, our focus is very firmly on the Ukrainian situation at this time.
Councillor Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple of questions for you. I saw in the press at the weekend, I think that Norfolk County Council is going to get about 300 refugees. I just wondered if we had any idea how many may be coming to North Norfolk. And then just following up the questions, probably the points that I think that Councillor Gay made. Obviously, there are going to be children amongst these. And in terms of language support, how will that work with schools? Do we have any idea about what support we'll be able to give schools? Because some of those, obviously, children probably won't be speaking any English at all.
Thank you. So in terms of numbers coming into North Norfolk, we are not aware at this stage in terms of the exact number of families that will be coming. That is because the way in which the system is working is that the extended families visas are issued to those that are coming into the UK. The intention is that those people will be supported by that extended family. So there is no wraparound support provided by government as part of that. The intention of this post is that we will be able to at least provide a bit of a network and some activity in terms of support of people who are coming under that scheme. In terms of the Homes for Ukraine, we don't know how many people have registered within North Norfolk to provide their property for Ukrainian families. And the way the system is working is that the Home Office are matching individuals. So I would imagine based primarily on size of accommodation that's been made available to the size of the family, and that is then passed down to County Council, who then process those properties within our area and send them out to us to inspect. So until we get those details through on the system, on the Norfolk Vulnerability Hub system, we don't know what we're being asked to go and visit. Anecdotally, we know that we have a number of people who haven't yet come through that system, partly because they haven't yet matched with a family, or they're making independent arrangements with individuals in Ukraine to actually come across. So that understandably, the system at the moment in terms of arrangements is moving at some pace. So in terms of that first question, no, we don't know. We know we have a number of properties that we've been asked to inspect, and we have already done a number of those inspections and have more to do today and tomorrow. But in terms of overall volume, we're not aware of how many we will be asked to accommodate or residents of North Norfolk will offer to accommodate. Sorry, just remind me, Councillor Cushing, if your
The second one is around schooling, because obviously
School.
some of the children may not speak any English at all, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge for them.
So, yeah, so in terms of school provision, that's a county council function. They have already an established people from abroad team. That team is working into the education system to make sure that there is adequate provision across schooling. I think one of the issues is that, and this is where this is slightly different from previous schemes, such as the Afghan resettlement and Syrian refugee situation, where most of those people were accommodated into the urban centre around Norwich because the provision was there in terms of the cultural need, etc., etc. Here, clearly it is much more widespread because those people are going to be dispersed across not just our district, but all of the districts within Norfolk. I think we are well set within North Norfolk because obviously a number of our schools are at capacity, but a number of them aren't, and so there will be ability to educate within those classrooms. Having some experience as an ex-school governor, there is nothing so resilient as a child in terms of not having the language and the children around them to accommodate. So I think from my perspective, yes, there will be provision made within the county system, but I anticipate that will be a very temporary issue and barrier to those who are coming and joining our communities. So yes, there will be provision made. Clearly, a lot of the people who are coming from Ukraine are, will have skills. There will be teachers amongst them. I know of at least 2 teachers who are coming to our district. So there may well be provision for those people to actually provide teaching into the Ukrainian families that are here as well.
It's fine, right. Any further questions on this one? Right. What I need first of all now is a proposer, so I will propose it, and I'm pleased to do so because I think it's important that this council is ready to provide the relevant support to these families that are going to be arriving here in extremely difficult circumstances that they've left behind in the Ukraine. So I'm more than happy to propose this. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Nigel Lloyd. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Right, I now move on to agenda item 10. Councillor Wendy Fredericks, and I note Officer Nikki Debbage is here.
Thank you, Chair. This report set out before you is about the Section 106 community sums to support delivery of affordable homes. Again, an excellent report written by Nikki, and I'd like to pass over to Nikki if there's any questions, or I can answer any questions. Thank you.
Officer Debbage.
Thank you, Chair. I think the report is fairly straightforward, but in summary, the council currently holds just over £2.3 million of Section 106 receipts. These were monies that were received in lieu of on-site affordable housing delivery. They can only be used to assist with the delivery of affordable housing. We created a capital programme for these last year. I think largely due to COVID, we didn't provide any grants last year, but we are now in a position where we have a number of schemes that require some top-up grant funding to help get them over the line, to make sure that they are delivered. And this report recommends the use of 700,000 of those Section 106 receipts to deliver around about 130
homes. Exact number yet to be confirmed because one of the schemes will be subject to some amendments to planning, which will increase the number of affordable homes to be delivered. But we're talking about a small amount per home in terms of top-up grant, but an important amount to make sure the schemes are delivered. You'll also see that elsewhere on your agenda today, there's a further report about receipt of some more Section 106 receipts from a shared equity home staircasing in Wells. So that will be putting some back into the pot, around about 100,000. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, it seems to me we've still got plenty of money in the pot, but I'm very pleased to see that we're now spending some of it. Right. Do I have any questions? Right. It's been proposed by Councillor Fredericks. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lucy Shires. Right, all those in favour? Right, thank you very much. That's unanimous. Right, the next item is the Hornbeam Road Car Park, Lord Walsham. Can I ask Councillor Richard Kershaw to introduce this item, please?
Thank you, Chair. This paper has been brought before Cabinet to discuss the use of Hornbeam Road Car Park, a car park that was following completion in 2019-2020, hasn't been fully used because COVID came in and has recently been used as a COVID, a site for COVID testing centre. The paper is brought before you. As you are aware, we have started construction on the North Walsham High Street Action Zone scheme, and as the year progresses, we will be working through the marketplace. This will put pressure on car parks as we'll be moving the market into bank local or similar car parks, and we're also building the bus turning points at New Road. So the proposal is to open Hornbeam Road to help with the overflow car parking from April the 1st, when COVID testing centre finishes, until the end of this calendar year. And during that time, in the 6 months, it will be officers will be looking at how we will be able to proceed with charging on this car park, and that will come forward later in the year. Thank you.
Right, so I believe on page 39, under options considered, it says to keep the car park closed until the car park order comes into effect in July 2021.
That should be 2022,
Two,
Chair.
that's what I thought, past that particular date. Right, so I've got a propose from Richard Kershaw, Councillor Richard Kershaw. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Nigel Lloyd. Do you wish to say anything as a local ward member?
Very briefly, I think Richard's covered it. I'm the ward member and I'm pleased. I was really pleased to see the car park back into use for the COVID testing station. And I think it's only right now that we provide provision whilst we've temporarily removed some of the parking in the town centre for people to still visit our town and park. I'm particularly pleased that we're offering this as a free parking facility currently. Thank you.
Right, this is a temporary arrangement for this year. The Cabinet did agree that we would purchase this site as part of the planning arrangements for the Hopkins Homes development in the area. The Cabinet agreed to purchase this site as a car park at the end of March 2020, and we actually completed the purchase some months later before COVID then came along and deferred the matter. Right, can I have a seconder, please? Yes, I've got Councillor Nigel Lloyd. All those in favour? Right, thank you very much. That's unanimous. Right, the next item is item number 12, which is staircasing of shared equity property in Wells. I noticed that I've got two estates officers. Good morning, Renata. Does anybody, do you wish to say anything on this?
Morning, Chair. Just in summary, the report details staircasing proposal of a property at Ashburton in Wells. The council has 31% share of the freehold. The leaseholder has the right under the lease to buy out the remaining share after a 5-year period, and we're at that point. We've had a market valuation undertaken independently, which indicates that share is at £102,300, and that would result in a capital receipt to the council. Thank you.
Right, I will propose that recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Kershaw, do I have any questions? Right, can I have a vote, please? All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, I now come to agenda item 13, of which there is purple papers. If there's questions within the purple papers, then we will have to go out of public section and into the exempt part of the meeting. Now, I have been alerted that there may be a question relating to the purple papers. So I will make a proposal that we, at this stage, that I will propose the recommendation. Does anybody have or wish to say anything about this particular item, which is within the green papers first? Councillor Andrew Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's just about the recommendation, the wording of the recommendation in section B. It refers to being signed off by the section 151 officer. But if terms are renegotiated, sometimes there are implications for the legal provisions within the lease, and I would just as a precaution like to see the chief legal officer added to that process, just to, as it were, cover all bases and not in any way expose us moving forward to any risk, unnecessary risk. I don't know what the officer thinks about it or what members of cabinet think about that.
Can I just look at the two officers involved? Would it be helpful if in fact you were included, if there is any variation that it's done in consultation with yourself?
Yes.
Is that all right? Yeah, that's fine. Right, so we can accommodate that amendment. Are you comfortable with the amendment? Right, is there any further questions at this stage? Right, so before we then move on, what I'm now going to have to ask is that the council excludes the press and the public so we can deal with this particular question.
That would be under paragraph 3, information relating to. And that would be under paragraph 3, information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person.
That's correct. Because it's part of
If it's proposed, seconded and voted.
Now, right, can I have a proposal? We go into private business, please. Right, proposed by councillor Kershaw, seconded by councillor Angie Phipps-Tillett. All those in favour? Right, I don't think we've got any press and